Good morning and welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with a massive show to bring you guys this morning. But before we do that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. So on the show this morning, of course, we will be talking about the Antony situation, which is just getting worse and worse by the minute. We will jump into that. We'll be talking a little bit about Sofyan Amrabat and about a story that came out last night saying he was injured, which we will jump into. Obviously, there's been some mixed reporting coming out from this, but yeah, we'll talk about that as well. We'll also talk about Jadon Sancho. Again, more rumblings coming out from Sancho's situation at Manchester United. Obviously, he didn't get the move to Saudi Arabia, which was being talked about yesterday. We'll talk about that. As always, get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed today, as I always do like to see you guys' opinions. So let's start off with the Jadon Sancho situation. Now, there was a story coming out last night from Chris Wheeler, who's done a couple of stories about Jadon over the last couple of days. And you know what? I'm starting to feel like it's a bit of a manhunt against him. I'm starting to feel like maybe he's stirring stuff. He's stirring the pot. Anyway, Chris Wheeler came out yesterday and said that apparently Erik ten Hag didn't have permission from the club or the player to mention about Jadon Sancho's mental health problems. That's what he said this time last year when he sent him off to the Netherlands, you know. Now, I've been reading through the quotes that Erik ten Hag actually said. And you know what? I think he only mentioned it once. And he didn't actually say mental health. He said something about the players' mental and physical attributes have to be the same or something. It was something along those lines, right? And this has just been completely spun out of context. And now the UK press are all coming after Erik ten Hag saying he didn't have permission to say it, blah, blah, blah. So what he actually said was this. He says, it's physical, but physical is also the connection with mental. But I think he is now making good progress on the physical part, and that will help him. I hope he can return quickly, but I can't say a duration of how long it will be. So that was the only mention of mental health that Erik ten Hag said in any press conference relating to Jadon Sancho. Yet, these journalists in the UK, I'll be honest, he reports for the Daily Mail, so what do you really expect? He's gone out with this rational headline saying, Erik ten Hag didn't get permission to say that Jadon had mental health problems and he did it behind his back. You know, all of these really, really damaging stories, you know, really, really bad for Erik ten Hag, because we know how serious mental health is. We know how much of a hot topic it is at the moment, especially amongst men. So for him to come out of this story, ultimately trying to throw Erik ten Hag under the bus, saying that he didn't have permission to speak about it, when if you actually look at the transcript from all of the interviews relating to Jadon Sancho, as I just said, the only time he mentions the word, he doesn't say health, he just says mental. He says it's physical, but physical is also the connection with mental, which makes sense. Imagine if you were, imagine if you'd broken your leg or something, right? And you physically couldn't be active. That would affect your mental health. So I just think that they're fishing here, and it is frustrating. We've just got to remember this, that a lot of the UK journalists never wanted Erik ten Hag at the club. And I do feel that this is, if we let it, this is the beginning of them starting this kind of divide between Manchester United fans and Erik ten Hag, because of all of the situations that are going on at the moment, because of all of the spin that's happening, because of all of the press trying to, they're ultimately after him, I think. But let me know what you think about that one. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this story. And then there's a couple of other bits on Jadon that's come out this morning. This is coming out from Mark Ogden, who's, of course, a writer for ESPN. And he says, Jadon Sancho is not just facing a battle to regain the support of Erik ten Hag following his post-Arsenal statement, but also his Manchester United teammates. It goes on to say that one source said that there is little sympathy for Jadon Sancho inside the Manchester United dressing room, saying that players have had enough of him. I mean, obviously, that's not great, is it? Like, I don't know. I just think now every single journalist is out to get either Erik ten Hag or Jadon Sancho. They're just stirring the pot. And it means that Erik ten Hag is going to have to make a big decision in the next couple of days, I think, before they return to training. Obviously, we've got a game against Brighton. I think it's next Saturday, is it? It's either next Saturday or Sunday. We've got about a week until our next game. This situation needs to be resolved by then. We can't be going back to training with this looming over us, because it's just a massive unnecessary distraction. Obviously, our start to the season hasn't been great, and we need to go and win that game against Brighton. Nothing but a victory is an option here. We have to win that game. It's next Saturday at 3 o'clock. So we've got about a week to sort this situation out. But every single morning I wake up, there's new things. Oh, the players aren't happy with Sancho anymore. The players think that he's done wrong and blah, blah, blah. It's just constant, and I don't really see the benefit of it. And I want to get you guys' opinions. Like, he hasn't moved to Saudi Arabia. He's staying here now. I think we just need to make the best of this situation. I'm not saying that I want him to stay here forever. I think in January, maybe you look to move him on. If not January, in the summer, definitely. But between now and January, we need him. We really, really do need him, especially when we start talking about the Antony situation in the moment. But I think we've just got to be very, very careful because all of the UK press are literally just fishing for stories and for headlines. You know, as I said, this Chris Wheeler guy yesterday, printing it everywhere, all over the internet that, breaking, exclusive, Erik ten Hag did not have permission to mention Jadon Sancho's mental health. And as I said, when you actually look at the transcript of what Erik ten Hag said, he's taken the smallest bit, one word, where he doesn't even say health, he just says mental, that physical relates to mental, which obviously makes sense. Think about it. If you're physically not good, you're probably mentally not going to be good either. So, yeah, it's really frustrating. It's just one of those ones that we've got to try and... we've just got to try and get over it. Andrew says, don't you feel there has been a conspiracy to destroy this club and the managers, especially the manager? Mate, 100%. 100%. And you know what? I don't think any of the press wanted Erik ten Hag. I don't think they did. I think they've always had it out to get him. Obviously, they all wanted Poch to come in, didn't they? You know, like the Gary Nevilles, etc. They all wanted Poch. It was only because of us, the Manchester United fans, who really, really pushed to get Erik ten Hag in. That was the only reason that we have Erik ten Hag at our club right now, is because of how much love he had from social media, from us, the fans, to get him into the club. And we know that the journalists don't really like him. Let's see what else people have said. Antony says, morning everyone, it's still Erik ten Hag all the way. Yeah, 100%. And that's why I wanted to bring this up at the beginning of the show, because I just think that it's so easy to get, I don't want to say brainwashed, but like, this is why channels like this are good, because we have no agenda. You know, I'm not being paid by a media company to say something. I'll just say how I'm honestly feeling about situations. And I think that that's why, YouTube, whatever, presenters on YouTube do well, because it's unbiased opinion. and you say things for what it actually is. Whereas obviously if you work for the Daily Mail, you're not going to say Chris Wheeler was wrong for do that article, because you'd probably get sacked, let's see what else we've got. Mila says, if we fire Erik ten Hag, who will we bring in? Mourinho. I mean, exactly. It's ridiculous. The thing is, right, you bring in another manager, for the first couple of months, they'll say, yes, this is amazing. And then by the end of the year, the press will be saying, oh, the manager, didn't put his rubbish in the bin after he had his lunch. Oh, it's not what it should be at Manchester United. Oh, this, I mean, they're always on witch hunts for the Manchester United managers, aren't they? Let's see what everyone else is saying. Right, let's talk about Sofyan Amrabat really, really quickly then, because there was a story that came out last night. I was going to do a video last night, but I wanted to wait until we had the full extent of the injury before doing kind of rational videos that scare people. So the story that came out last night was everybody saying breaking news, exclusive, all the rest of it. And the headline was that Sofyan Amrabat has been withdrawn from the Moroccan national team due to an injury. That was the headline, right? Everybody went crazy. Everybody was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've lost Amrabat. He hasn't even played a game yet. Obviously, I was concerned, but I thought I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to wait and see what happens in the morning. So the Moroccan National Team Federation put out a statement saying the national team coach has summoned the player Yahya Giran to replace the injured Sofyan Amrabat. So it has been confirmed, right? Now, since that story came out, we have had a bit of clarification. And the story is Sofyan Amrabat is not in... Sorry, let me start that again. Sofyan Amrabat's injury is not a major setback. Morocco's manager has replaced him in the squad to give him a chance to get back to 100% fitness ahead of his new adventure at Manchester United. So just to be very, very clear, the Moroccan national team have done us a massive favour here. They're saying that his injury is minor, but they want him to be 100% ready for Manchester United's game against Brighton and for his new career at Manchester United. So they obviously have just done this as a precaution. I think Morocco have already qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. Let me just double check that. Obviously, last night, everyone was literally going crazy, weren't they? They were like, how have we done this? We've just signed another injured player. We signed Rasmus Højlund. He was injured. Everyone was really upset. Everyone was losing it. And I thought, you know what? Let's wait until the morning. Let's see what news stories come out. And it looks like it is just a precaution. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm just checking if they've qualified already. Give me 1 second. Africa Cup of Nations... Everybody, please do go and smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm just checking the tables for the Africa Cup of Nations. I want to see if Morocco have already qualified. So Morocco, I mean, have they qualified? Morocco have 6 points, right? And there's 3 games left. And the next team below them, Libera, have 1 point. So, yeah, Morocco need to draw out 1 game out of their next 3 and they'll qualify. So, yeah, they're going to qualify. That's fine. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Yeah, so in short, Sofyan Amrabat is okay. They're just precautionary, sending him back. It says Sofyan Amrabat is nothing serious. It's just a precaution. So everybody, go into your weekends and enjoy your weekends. We should see Sofyan Amrabat at Manchester United for the game against Brighton next Saturday. So that's really positive. I'm really, really happy about that. Obviously, last night it was quite concerning, but yeah, now that we've got some clarity on it, I'm glad that I waited until today to talk about it and didn't do a video last night, because I think everyone would have. I've seen some people on Twitter just like end the season now. You know, people were very, very upset about this story, and I don't blame them. I really don't. I just want to say as well, actually, I don't know if did anybody watch the Denmark game last night? Obviously, Rasmus Højlund didn't start. He came off the bench. He didn't score, but I tell you who was unbelievable last night for Denmark, right? Christian Eriksen. Go and watch Christian Eriksen's assist for the first goal. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I know it was against San Marino, but yeah, Christian Eriksen, man of the match yesterday. He got 3 assists. Unbelievable play. Right, let's move over to the Antony situation, though. Again, another situation. As the video thumbnail says, the drama continues. Literally, it's like an episode of Hollyoaks or Emmerdale. Anyway, so let's talk about Antony. Just as this story came out about Sofyan Amrabat last night, literally within about a couple of minutes, a third woman, an ex-partner, has apparently now come forward and accused Antony of, I don't know what exactly it was. It says, where is it? I mean, it's mad, isn't it, this situation? It really, really is. So it says Manchester United have declined to comment in relation to the 2 fresh abuse allegations facing Antony that have surfaced today. So there's 3 different allegations apparently now. 3. The latest one was yesterday. I think there was 2 yesterday from 2 different ladies. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? It really, really is. I do think that Manchester United will have to suspend him now, and I think that probably will happen before the Brighton game. You can't go into a football match having 3 different individuals accusing you of such, you know, horrible crimes. I'm not saying that he's guilty. Obviously, we don't know at this point, do we? But from Manchester United's perspective, until this situation is resolved, Erik ten Hag doesn't need any more stuff like this going on. Like, it's just absolutely mad, isn't it? So yeah, it's a third woman, a 33-year-old banker, accuses Antony of assault. There's a quote there, but I'm not going to read it because it's not particularly nice. Obviously, if you want to go and find it yourself, that's up to you. But I don't really want to bring stuff like that onto this show, to be honest. So 3 different people. They've all made police reports in Brazil. I think the first one, who was his recent ex-partner, has made a report to Greater Manchester Police as well. I don't know where this story is going to go. Obviously, at the moment, the club are refusing to give any more comments on it, but they're going to have to say something else now that there's, you know, they responded to the first one, but now that we've got 2 more, 3 in total, like, they're going to have to do something about it. They will. Al says this woman is giving a full interview this weekend. Yeah, that's the other bit. Again, I don't want to stir stuff, but apparently one of these people who's accusing him is doing an interview on live TV on Sunday. So it's only going to get worse, to be honest. Obviously, we need to wait and see what the police do. You know, it's not really up for us. I'm not going to sit here and decide whether he's guilty or not, because that's not, obviously, I'm not a police officer. I don't work in the criminal department. But from a club's perspective, from a sporting perspective, I don't see how Manchester United can, you know, continue with Antony playing at the moment when there's all of this stuff going on. It just, especially after the Mason Greenwood situation, it's just not a particularly good look, is it, for the club? It's not really very fair for the alleged victims if you've potentially got someone, and it's not really fair for Antony either as well. If you're looking at it from all sides, I think it needs to be sorted away from the public domain. Obviously, this again hasn't been sorted away from the public domain. All of these alleged victims have come out publicly on Twitter, have been, you know, putting quotes, are going to do interviews. It's not been done in the right ways like it should, you know. But sometimes I guess people feel like that's the only way that they're going to get their voice heard. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens, you know. But yeah, let's move on to something else. So just a quick one as well for anybody who is crying out for some football today. Obviously, Portugal face Slovakia today in the Euros qualifier. Obviously, we are expecting Dalot and Bruno Fernandes to take part, and Scott McTominay will be playing for Scotland against Cyprus. So if anybody is wanting to watch some football today, then yeah, there is plenty of football on today. I'm not personally. I did watch the Denmark game last night, but I'm not going to be around to watch any of the qualifiers today, unfortunately. But yeah, let me know if you're going to watch any of the matches. Let me know who you're most excited about. Antony says, I know it's been crazy for too long, but wouldn't you agree? I'd rather this all comes out in the fresh now than halfway through the season. I mean, yeah, obviously it needs to come out. Like if our players have done something wrong, then it needs to be addressed. Like we can't just rub it, brush it under the carpet. So obviously it's bad timing, but it is what it is, isn't it? It's just crazy that you had the Greenwood situation, which didn't really get resolved. It kind of, again, got brushed under the carpet. The people who want him back are still annoyed, and the people who didn't want him back are still annoyed because he's still at the club, technically, So they didn't really solve that. And then literally within like a week of that decision, you get the Antony situation, and then sandwiched between that, you get the Sancho situation. Like, it's mad. Brian says, will Amrabat be available for the Brighton game, even though he hasn't trained with the team? I reckon he'll probably be on the bench for that game. I would start him personally. I think against Brighton, we need Amrabat. We need Amrabat, Casemiro and Bruno. But I wouldn't be surprised if Eriksen starts that game, purely because, honestly, Eriksen last night against San Marino was unbelievable. Again, I know it's just San Marino. I know it's not like he's just played France in a World Cup final. San Marino are literally the worst international team, I think, results-wise, fixtures-wise. But he was incredible last night. He really, really was. Sean says, do you not feel the situation at the club is hopeless? It just seems to go from bad to worse. This club, man, ages you like milk. You know what? I honestly feel like at the moment we're at rock bottom. I honestly do. I think obviously with the sale situation, we've got a video coming out at lunchtime about the sale, actually, where I'm trying to deep dive into why I think the Glazers are holding out for so much money. So keep an eye on that one. But yeah, generally, I think we're at rock bottom now. I don't want to jinx it, but I don't think we can get a hell of a lot lower than where we are now. I think this is literally the very, very bottom, and it can only go up from here. I say that maybe this afternoon, they announced that the Glazers are staying. Obviously, that would be literally down to the depths of the sea, wouldn't it, if that happened? But yeah, you just have to hope that it's going to get better. Andrew says, any chance this was paid by Jassim to lead all this negative news out? I don't know, mate. I don't really go for all the conspiracy based stuff. Maybe, I don't know, probably not. I don't think so. Mila says, would you play Mount as a right wing and keep Bruno in the middle? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's something Erik ten Hag does. I wouldn't. Obviously, if Antony gets suspended and Jadon Sancho doesn't work out, then I would not be surprised at all if Mason Mount goes to the right. Obviously, he did play there for Chelsea, because I don't think Mason Mount, Bruno and Casemiro as a midfield three work. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he does try that. Whether or not it will work, we'll obviously have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I would give it a go. Yeah, why not? Let's see what other questions we've got coming in. Wesley says, how was Rasmus Højlund last night? So Rasmus Højlund didn't start the game for Denmark. He came on, when did he come on? I'm trying to remember. He came on at about the 60th minute. So he played for about 30 minutes. He hit the post. He looked decent. He did. He looked really sharp. He had a good half an hour in him. I think that was the right amount of time. I think half an hour is perfect for him. I don't want to overstretch him at this point. Obviously, we're wanting him to play 2 games a week, aren't we, for the whole season? So him playing 90 minutes against San Marino doesn't really benefit us that much. So 30 minutes, no issue whatsoever. Mr. L says, if they don't suspend Antony, does Mason Greenwood have a case for being unfairly discriminated against? 100%, mate. I would say so. I mean, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but looking at it from an outside perspective, if I'm Mason Greenwood and I see this situation being handled differently to how his situation was being handled, I would definitely be like, on to my lawyers, like, what's going on here? This isn't okay. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. I would imagine so. And that's why I think Manchester United having to be so careful about how they approach this situation. It's definitely a very, very difficult one. What else have we got in here? If we've got any other questions. Jihan says, the Glazers can't stay, so I am not worried. I have no time for Bruno. I would be happy if we sold him. That's not going to happen. Yeah, I wouldn't sell Bruno personally. I get people's frustration with Bruno. I get it. He doesn't retain the ball very well, but I think Bruno is one of our best players. So I think if we got rid of Bruno, what happens then? You've got Mason Mount as your centre attacking midfielder. Like, I'd rather not. I'd rather keep Bruno. But I get your frustration. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up there, guys. It was just a shorter one this morning. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. I hope everyone has a lovely morning, day, or evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you guys later.